If you want to become a web designer in 2025, there are 5 main areas where you need to ensure you have the correct tools. In this video, we're going to look at those 5 areas and the free or very cheap tools that you need in order to start web design in 2025. If you have all of this in place, there's nothing to stop you earning money as a web designer in the next year. So the 5 areas that we're going to look at and equip you for is the actual designing and creation of websites. So the tool to actually make the website. We're going to look at graphic creation or graphic manipulation, because you are going to need to manipulate images at some point during the web creation process, even if you're not creating logos for clients. We're also going to look at project management and tools that you might need in order to effectively manage the projects for your web design. Also, we're going to look at communication. Communication is really important between yourself and your client or anyone else. And we're going to look at free and easy ways to get equipped for that. And then last of all, we're going to look at business management, because as boring as that might be, as soon as you are trying to earn money by providing a service, then you are running a business, even if you're a sole trader. So we're going to look at the easiest way to get equipped for that so you can get yourself rolling. Okay, so let's look at tools for designing and building a website. Now, first of all, I was going to look at software that you might need to use or purchase in order to do this. But as a little bit of a bonus, and I'm doing it at the beginning of the video, I'm sure that's the wrong way that you're meant to do it, we do actually need to look at a device. What device do you need in order to do web design? Do you need a 2024 iMac, such as what I have here? Well, I'm sorry to crush you here, but there's no justification for that whatsoever. You do not need a high-end Mac or Apple product device in order to do web design in 2025. The truth is, you can do web design on a clapped out little device that just barely runs Chrome. Now, I'm not saying that's ideal, obviously, but what I am saying is that the device you are using likely is no barrier to you participating in this new career. It really, really isn't. To my left, and you can't see this obviously, is a 2015 iMac that I still use for actual website creation. I use my graphic packages on that Mac quite often, and I'll build web pages out with no issue whatsoever. It all works perfectly fine. I was visiting my parents, and they've got an old PC laptop, and I jumped on there quickly just to sign into a site and do something, and it worked fine. Was it as fast as this? No, but it did the job perfectly well. As a last point on that, if I ever decide that I'm going to go and sit by the fire on the sofa and do a bit of work, then I have an old 2017 MacBook Pro that I bought for about £150 on Marketplace. It was a real bargain, but it does everything I need to with the drag and drop page builder when I'm building a site. So yeah, I can just go and sit and chill out on the sofa and be a nomadic web designer, the dream. So let's just quickly look at this. If I just jump to eBay right now, MacBook Pro 2018, all of these options here, they will get you going for the next year. If you if you want to think of this as an investment into a first year in web design, into that first stage where you just need to be learning the fundamentals, this is going to be fine for you. It will run Chrome. It will certainly run Firefox. Any of these will get you going. Even when you upgrade next year, because you've gotten a few website jobs and it's paid for itself, even when you upgrade, I guarantee you'll be sitting on the sofa using this one in some of your downtime. Yeah, the device is no barrier. For £200-300, you're going to have a device that will get you going. All right? Okay, now we're out of excuses to go and buy the latest Apple device, as exciting as that is. Let's look at the software that you need. What do you actually need in order to build a website? Well, these days you don't need some big fandangly coding apps or anything, or if you're going for a no coding option, you don't need to download software to your device. You really don't. It's all pretty much browser based. So drag and drop page builders are sometimes they're scorned at by the coding community, but the truth is I've forgotten most of the code that I ever knew, because it's use it or lose it. I just haven't had need to use it when serving the needs of local smaller businesses, which are the main bulk of my clientele, obviously. And so drag and drop page builders are something you can hand to the client, and it empowers them with their website, which is fantastic. So, putting aside all the scorn for it, it's what we need to use because it suits the clients. What drag and drop page builders are there? Well, there are Wix and Squarespace and Shopify. I really don't like those. I prefer to use drag and drop page builders or website builders that you use within WordPress. There are two that I use, Breakdance and Elementor. Elementor is easier for clients to pick up, so it would be easier as a beginner for you to pick up. You will learn the fundamentals of stuff like Flexbox and how to make layouts. Elementor really is a great page builder. Even if I'm moving on from it, Elementor is a great place to start, and it's not expensive to use. The only thing is that you need to use it within the WordPress ecosystem. So you need to use a WordPress installation and load Elementor into it. That's also the same with Breakdance, but Breakdance is it's a lot more complicated. Once you have the fundamentals in place, you will really love to use it, and you would certainly want to move on to Breakdance. So if you fancy a baptism by fire, then start learning in Breakdance. So you need WordPress and Breakdance and a bit of determination. If you would like a bit of an easier ride and to make easier websites while you're learning the fundamentals and hand them over to clients, I would say Elementor is actually still a really great option. Either way, you need to go with WordPress, which powers over 40% of the websites online. So WordPress is a really good choice to make. Essentially, you buy your hosting, you get WordPress installation free with all of those hosting options, and then you purchase the page builder of your choice to go into it. Now WordPress and those page builders are easier to price for clients because others such as Webflow or Framer, which I'll discuss very quickly in a minute, they are priced by month and they become a lot more expensive for clients very quickly. So it's going to make that sell a bit more difficult. I would say, again, go with WordPress. It's free with web hosting, and then you have a page builder fee within that. It's much easier to give that pricing to clients, and there are no other limitations on all of that. So I will look at all of the others, but my suggestion would be for pricing and ease and a good learning experience, I would say use WordPress and go with either Breakdance or Elementor, depending on whether you want to wrestle a bit more. It does get a bit complex, especially if you're just starting out and you're not really sure about web hosting, how that works, how a website works, and how a domain works. All of this I'm going to be explaining more on this channel throughout the early part of this year. I do actually go through it on my Udemy course. That's not a shameless plug, but it's a very affordable course, and we go through the website fundamentals and how to design a website. So that might be of interest to you. So the first thing you need is a drag and drop page builder, but you really just want to get started with creating a web page. I would say jump along to Framer, and the experience is quite fluid and intuitive. There's also one called Webflow, which is really popular. This personally reminds me of older drag and drop page builders that you used to get in WordPress. It feels a bit, if you know the reference, WP Bakery to me, in how it's used and created. So I'm not a big fan of this, but it is a great WordPress alternative. Framer made me quite happy quite immediately, if I'm honest. So I'll just quickly sign up. And obviously you can sign up with a Google account, just nice and quick. And I've done that on screen. I've not edited any of that, and already I'm in an interface. So it's really quite fantastic. I can look at the navigation and think, okay, I will start with this one, and then I've only looked at this very briefly. There's a section, I like this one, and I can start playing with that. So I need to go and find the fill. I don't want to use an image, but I could use an image. How fantastic. I can instead start creating a funky gradient. So, that's all looking pretty cool. I really like that at first on my first exploration. So I'm already creating a web page. There's a free option for you. There's no barrier to learning. It's in a browser, £250 laptop. Off you go. That's fantastic. Okay, that being said, I would really strongly advise you, so that you're learning the fundamentals of web design, to get web hosting, and I recommend SiteGround, by the way, and because this price also is not that prohibitive. For the first year, it's $199, excluding VAT, but that's not much for the first year. Okay, so you buy the first year at $199 per month, and then you need to buy a domain for about $17.99, I think it is. And for that, you're going to have some web hosting and a domain and a WordPress installation. So from that, you can just go. And again, if you look at my Udemy course, I show you a way to use Elementor Page Builder and a theme to make an entire website for completely, like, it's free. So you don't have to pay for the pro version of Elementor. And the reason I did that is because, again, it's not prohibitive, the price. It's what, 24, 30 quid for a year. And then you use a free theme and a free version of Elementor to create an entire website. And you can sell that website and buy more hosting, whatever you want to do, reinvest. So that's those are the really good options, really. If you want to just start wrestling with how to design a site and use some page builder tools, jump on Framer for free and start playing. If you're really serious, I would say get a web hosting account for £2 a month for the first year, and $17.99 I think it is for a domain, and 15 quid for my Udemy course, I think. It's always on an offer. It's Udemy. All of that being done, you can start creating a website. This option has no limitation on pages or how many contact form submissions you can have, or all of that. I'll cover that in a new video. So those are some ideas on what to go for an initial web design package. All right. After that, we need to look at graphic design. So whether you are offering logo design or having a go at graphic design, or you'd like to design some graphic elements for a web page, or whether your client has submitted some graphics that are just a bit, they need some tweaking, then you're going to need a graphics package. Now, again, let's start cheap and easy, or free and easy. There are open source graphic packages that are really fantastic. The first one to mention is GIMP. It's the most popular. It's what I started on years back in its very early and clunky days. But it taught me everything I needed to know. It gave me all the tools where I could learn the fundamentals. Another one that you could use, which is again browser-based and free, is to jump onto Canva. You might have heard of this, but a few years back, I realized I wasn't so hot on my graphic design. I was more web designer and fumbling through. And I thought, okay, I'll jump on Udemy, get a graphic design course, and just go through those fundamentals. And funnily enough, the main tool used in that course was Canva. And it did everything that was needed, to be honest. And you will learn about the fundamentals of layering different items and elements. So you can have different images here, layered onto the background and the gradient, and then you've got the text. And the most important thing is that you learn about composition and all of those different aspects. So the visual hierarchy and making sure that somebody realizes what you want them to look at. And all of those different aspects of alignment and all of that kind of fun stuff. So this is where you can learn that. And then it's browser based. It's very easy to use, and you can also use lots of, say, social media presets and things. So somebody says, okay, I'd like a social media post. You can use presets, social media, and you've got all of these presets that you can start using as the correct canvas, and then you play with all of the different elements. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's free, and it's browser based. So have a play with that. Again, is where you will learn all of the fundamentals. If you are looking to actually step up and spend some money on a graphics package, I would say, rather than going all the way up to Adobe stuff, go with the one that I love. I really love this program, and it's a one-time spend for about £70, and it's Affinity Designer 2. Now, this is their answer to Adobe and providing an Adobe alternative, and it does everything you need it to do. There is also Affinity Photo 2, and that is fantastic. But if you only have the money to go for one, it's usually a deal to buy the both. But if you only have the money for one, I would say this is best because you can do mock-ups on it, you can create logos, you can do photo manipulation on them anyway. It basically has everything you need, and it's a one-time spend for £67.99. All right, so and that includes the tax. Happy days. So that really is where I would say to go if you want to put a little bit of money into it. Once you've had a play with Canva and seen if graphic design is for you, but you won't want for anything with this program. So now we come to project management. Now, project management, a lot of project management is actually about the process that you design. And to be honest, you can use anything for it. You could use pen and paper and a good folder system, because that's essentially what it is. Once you have something completing one stage, you would move it on to the next and make sure you have any attachments or anything with that. So with that in mind, it's really for you to decide what works for you with project management. I would just say make sure you are managing projects. The free and the simple way to start doing project management, in my opinion, is something like using Google. So I'll give you an example here. Really, there's not much more that you need rather than having something like a Google folder. And here I have an example client folder, and it has all of these different aspects in it. So invoices and payments, website, if they're an SEO client as well, I might have an SEO folder, and then graphic design, all of these things, it works really well. It's just organization. Now, the cool thing is that the G Suite really comes with calendar as well, and you can do recurring tasks, or you can set a deadline, so that the calendar that's linked with this Google account, free Google account, really gives you that sort of recurring task element as well, so that you can know that you're on track with things. So again, it's got the time element to it and the scheduling element, but it also has the organization element. So all of these different parts of the client website design project are segregated out, and then you've got Google Docs, and this is where it really kicks off. It's really fantastic. So if I was, for example, planning out the page, now I can invite the client to this document, and they can comment, and they can also suggest edits, and if they suggest an edit and you click a tick, then it would actually change the document. And so after all of that working together in the actual document, you have everything that you need to take to the actual to Framer or to Elementor or to Breakdance. On top of that though, you have these. You have templates and meeting notes, email draft, and more. All of this is really, really useful, and again, it all integrates with your calendar and actually with your emails that are going back and forth with your client. So to be honest, I can't think of anything in project management that you need that you don't get here, and all of this is free with 16 gigabytes, a free Gmail account. I really would stress that you don't need to pay out for an expensive project management app or service. This has everything you need. In fact, I would say use this for a while and see how you like to manage projects, because undoubtedly you are going to manage a project and get used to it, and then realize how you like to work, and you're going to tweak things, and you will find then, once you understand how you actually like to manage a project, what you're good at, what you're bad at, what you need help with, you will find a paid project solution that suits your style. And so moving on to paid stuff, my project management tool of choice is ClickUp, because I really like the colors. I also like just how sort of linear and horizontal it can be with the use of the board view. I have tried Notion and Monday. I just didn't like it. They didn't vibe with me. But ClickUp I really got on with, and for work I have everything central in ClickUp, and I can link everything to different aspects of projects or websites or servers. I have it all linked up, and then actually, to be honest, these tasks link out to various assets in my Google folders for those clients, so it all integrates one to the other. But yeah, ClickUp is where I have the organization and the management of it primarily these days, and in these nice little horizontal colorful rows. I really enjoy the ClickUp experience, and this is the project management tool for me. So I would suggest you have a look at ClickUp when you're looking for a paid one. So free and easy project management is, again, the G Suite. Microsoft has some alternatives if you want to go Microsoft. Don't know why. But then a paid management tool, I would definitely say ClickUp is the one for web design. But a lot of people like Notion, so certainly check that one out. Now, communication is really important as a web designer. You will primarily communicate with email, undoubtedly. It's very efficient to do that, and it keeps it all quite linear, to be honest, which is really good. You need an email client that's going to keep conversations linear and help with organization. And I say that because if you were to get a web hosting with SiteGround, for example, you get free webmail with that, which is really good because it ties in with your domain. It looks really professional, so it'll be like Chris at bushydigital.co.uk, oh, how professional. And it does, it looks very professional. However, the organization in webmail, in many different webmails, not just SiteGrounds, is not very good, and the functionality isn't good. The efficiency won't be easy with webmail, unfortunately. Some are better than others, obviously, but I think it's worth getting a dedicated business email. And for that, I would say you've got G Suite or Google Workspace, but G Suite or Microsoft 365. Now, I personally have a real about Microsoft projects. I deal with it on a daily basis for clients. And Workspace for me is just a better user experience, and it all integrates really well with their own apps, but also other people's. And Google Meet is just absolutely fantastic for jumping on a call with clients, and it schedules into your calendar, it schedules into your project management documents and things. So for communication, I would say that the G Suite is a really good way to go, more than webmail. But if you're looking for the free version, you have to really toss that up between whether you want webmail and your professional domain with less efficiency, or a Gmail account for a lot of that communication, but higher efficiency in organization. So again, when we're going free, there does have to be a bit of a trade-off, and I would say that that's going to be against the professional domain email and the efficiency. Personally, to be honest, I would actually lean towards using @Gmail. I didn't think I was going to say this, but I'm saying it, and I agree. Now I'm saying it. I would lean towards using Gmail and having higher efficiency in organization than using webmail and a professional domain. But can you marry up the two? Yes, you can. And actually, it's not very expensive at all. So if I take you to the G Suite, Gmail, Google Workspace, that's it. I keep changing their name. This is all you actually need for Google Workspace. And you can try it for 14 days for free, but essentially it's the Gmail experience and the G Suite experience, but it's for business. So you get more storage and you can have video meetings and all of those awesome things. But the important thing is that you get your professional email, and it's only £5 a month. Which is really good. But the thing you need to understand with that one is that it's £5 a month per email. So chris@bushdesigns.co.uk. It's not Bush Designs, that's not my name. I like it though, I might do that. But I could also have an alias email address, or quite a few with that one seat. So I could have connect@bushdesign.co.uk. I could have someone else at bushdesigns.co.uk. And that's an alias email. So people would email that because they saw it on the website. It looks professional, but it would email to my chris@bushdesigns.co.uk email. So although you only have one seat and one working email, it's one that has different aliases to it. So that's a really cool advantage. Added to that, you have 30 gigabytes per user and all of these fantastic organizational features. So I think that's really the win for your first paid communication asset. Should be Google Workspace, in my opinion. You could, of course, go to Microsoft 365, but then the problem with that is that you've gone with Microsoft 365. So, yeah, I said it. Okay, the last thing that we want to really look at is business management. And, I'm more a web designer than a business manager, but I do manage my business. All I can say here is that, again, it's really important that you are managing your business, and that means tracking things you've spent money on, tracking how much that is, obviously, tracking what projects you've used that in so that you can reflect on that later, and then also, tying that all in with your projects. You also need to look at the expenses of general sort of use and equipment. But the other side of business management is also the goal setting and collecting numbers so that you can analyze what's been working and what hasn't been working. Management has so many different aspects to it that it's not something that can just be sort of, you can't just throw stuff at that wall and see what sticks. It's better to be mindful. So again, the main thing is tracking everything that you're doing in a way that you can easily relate it to one another. So you want to print out your invoices and keep them in one place and track them to the projects, but also track them to your earnings and make sure you're paying your taxes and things like that. So all of that is really quite important. And again, I would say a first and free option for this is use your G Suite or your Google Workspace or your free Gmail management there. You've got Google Drive, it's encrypted, two-factor authentication. Be sensible with security, obviously, but keep everything organized, and that is in the cloud. It's accessible anywhere. You can easily share that with accountants or anyone else that you need business management help from. But yeah, that's a really, really good place to start, is using that organizational structure. So that's what I would suggest as your initial business management asset or resource. Again, though, I would say that something like project management, like ClickUp, I actually use a lot. I use this for my own work and my own clients. I also use it for my work in the agency with the web department. And I have everything in different spaces. I have all of the different assets. I have trackings for premium plugins and when they would be payable and what clients are using those and tied to. I track my entire process. So a job comes in, not into this funnel, obviously. It's in a different one called Deals. Job. And I would track it from it comes in as a lead, and then it goes to meeting with client, proposition, proposal to client, proposal accepted. By the way, at this point, I would have attached a PDF of the proposal and everything that's there. Project go ahead, maybe a project onboarding. Track it through the project to invoice sent, invoice paid. And by the way, again, I would have added into this task a PDF of the invoice, and when that was paid would be added into a custom field, and then eventually that gets closed and archived. And so I am able to track an entire process of projects and client information and all of that in these tasks, as well as having all of my SOPs in a particular space and all of other resource tracking. So and again, on this, I can have a space for business goals where I'm setting the goals that I have for my business, and then tracking different things in there. So you can set formulas in that and actually track what your hourly rate is against your project build fee and the hours that you've time tracked into it. So that's a really good aspect as well. So you can set goals and milestones and track those in there. And I think that actually works really well for business management. Of course, then you need to make sure you're joining up with finance software and things like that. So business management, again, I would say your first paid step into that is probably something like ClickUp. Works well. There are other business management tools, but if you've already got yourself into the G Suite and ClickUp, then it all integrates and works well. And obviously Google Workspace and ClickUp are both easily shareable to other people like financial advisors or accountants and things that help in that regard with your business. Okay, so those are the tools and the resources I would say you need in order to start web design in 2025. Obviously, I've done what I can to keep a lot of that free and easy, or at least cheap, but there aren't really any costs that are prohibiting you from getting involved. There are free versions for pretty much everything there. And then the main thing is that you are learning, you're developing your awareness of the fundamentals, becoming better at what you do, and then reinvesting money into the business so that you can upgrade. And that's really the idea. So if you're looking to go forward in 2025, as a web designer, do have a play with all of these free and cheap tools. And I should mention again my Udemy course. It's Elementor based, and all you need really there is the website hosting, and then you're able to go and build an entire website and learn all of those fundamentals for just the price of that Udemy course. And there's always a deal on, but let me know if there isn't, and I'll put a fresh coupon out just so that you can get a bit of a deal and get yourself going. I really mean that, by the way. If you put it in the comments, hey, can I have a coupon code for your Udemy course, I will send one in, or put it into the comments. And yeah, go and get yourself the course and enjoy it, and let me know how it goes for you. Okay, cool. So if you enjoyed this, then please like and subscribe. If you have anything to add or anything to ask, please chuck that in the comments below. I will always respond, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks.